Apara karuna sindhum jnanadam shantarupinam Shri Chandrasekharendra Gurum Pranamami Mudanvaham Sadguru Charanarvindabhyan Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. We welcome you all for this introduction to Dheivathin Kural program. So this program is conducted by Shri Kanchi Kamakoti Peetams. So just to give you guys an introduction about Dharma Moolam and its activities, Dharma Moolam is very instrumental in spreading the Dharma and the Moolam for Dharma. That is the source of Dharma in India as well as in overseas. Dharma Moolam has been conducting various summer camps for kids. And with COVID, so we have changed from physical camps to online camps. For example, last year, we conducted online summer camps for kids as Katha Shravana program, where various stories like Ramayana and Panchatantra stories, like classical stories that has got roots in Indian values, Indian ethical values, have been introduced to kids in English. And there was also an online summer camps for youths, like 14 plus kids, by various pundits from India, where they have been introduced to the concept of dharma, to the concept of rishi, etc. And we also had online Margari, Tirupavai, and Tiruvambavai class, in the December, January. So most of you guys, or some of you guys, would have known that we were fortunate to get Periva's blessings, both for the beginning of the program and at the end of the program. And currently, we are doing two programs. One is online Deivathin Kural Katha Shravanam for kids. That program is exclusively for kids, where various stories from Dheivathin Kural and various stories of Acharyas like Shankara Charitram and other interesting stories from Puranas that are apt for kids have been introduced or being introduced to the kids in English. And currently, we also have online introduction to Deivathin Kural for adults. So that is what we are currently doing. So we are having an adult class, and the sole intention of this program is to introduce Deivathin Kural for the adults. So what is Deivathin Kural? So some of you or most of you guys would have known what is Deivathin Kural. Some of you guys they don't know how to read Tamil. They might not have read Voice of God, which is the English translation of Deivathin Kural. So just to give an introduction, in 7 volumes, Sri Ra Ganapati Anna, so this is the author. So he has compiled all the teachings of Mahaperiyava. Mahaperiyava, Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swamigal, is an Acharya of Kanchi Kamakoti Peetam. And he has given a lot of lectures that, we all know Periyava has performed a lot of miracles, we do puja, etc., etc. But more than that, he also has spoken a lot. People are always focused about what he did rather than what he spoke. So he has spoken a lot, and that is like a treasure house of dharma to all of us. We don't have to read Vedas, we don't have to read Puranas, we don't have to read Vedanta. If we read Deivathin Kural, everything is covered in Deivathin Kural. It is like an encyclopedia of Sanatana Dharma. And Ra Ganapati Anna has painstakingly, has compiled all of the teachings. He has assembled, those teachings in a logical order, and those books have been published in 7 volumes. There are also other teachings of Mahaperiyava, published in other books, but we are mainly focusing on Deivathin Kural because it is so famous, and we can get, Deivathin Kural online. So we will be focusing on Deivathin Kural. And this is the teaching of Mahaperiyava, and these books have been compiled by Ra Ganapati Anna. So just to give you an introduction to Kanchi, Kamakoti, Matham, and Mahaperiyava, this Matham was founded by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Just to give you guys a timeline of Adi Shankaracharya. so that we can all appreciate, till like when did the Pitam originate and what is the time and how the teachings have been preserved since 500 BCE. We are going to discuss the Shankara Charitram. We are going to discuss the timeline of Adi Shankara later. But just you guys, just to give you guys a peek, so Shankara's time, Mahapriyava says, is about 500 BCE, and currently we are in 2000 AD. So there is a gap of 2,500 years, and all the Shankara matams. So Adi Shankaracharya has established 5 major matams. There are four Amnaya matams: Badri, Puri, Sringeri, and Dwaraka, and Moolam Naya matam is Kanchi. So through these 5 mathas, the teachings of Shankaracharya has been preserved for 2,500 years. So whatever they in Deivathin Kural Mahapariyava says, these are all the concepts. These were valid 2,500 years ago, and these are valid currently for the current time, and this will be valid even after 2,500 years from right now. So just to appreciate, we need, because we are being born in this glorious Sanatana Dharma, and if we don't appreciate our glories, then who else will appreciate? So we just need to have all these things on our mind. And in Moolam Naya Kanchi Kamakoti Pitam, so we have the 70th Acharya, Sri Shankara Saraswati Acharya. Mahaperiva was the 68th Acharya, and then Jayendra Saraswati, Jayendra Periva was 69th Acharya, and the current Acharya is Sri Shankara Vijay Saraswati Swamigal. And as some of you guys know, Sri Periva Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal has given his Purna Anugraham for conducting this program when he was blessing the Margari month Tirupavai and Tiruvambavai program. So with thanks to all of those acharyas, with special thanks to Adi Shankaracharya, Mahaperiva, Jayendra Periva, and Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Periva, we will now go into Deivathin Kural proper. So here, I just wanted to tell like what are all the subjects that are present in Deivathin Kural. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list. Mahapareva has spoken a lot about a lot in Deivathin Kural. He has spoken about dharma. He has spoken about social issues. He has spoken about socio-political issues that were relevant at that time. He has extensively spoken about Vedas. He has spoken about rituals. He has spoken about bhakti. He has spoken about jnanam. As I told earlier, this is really an encyclopedia of Sanatana Dharma. Whoever wants to get introduced to Sanatana Dharma, like please read Deivathin Kural so that you can grasp all those what Mahaprabhu has said. However, in this class, in this session, we are not going to see all of those topics because those topics are wide range. Like, these are 7 books, huge books. It is not possible to cover all those topics under the given time, 1 hour per week. So it is physically not possible. So for this session, you can say, consider this as like program 1. We are planning to continue this program later as well. But for this session, we will be focusing on these topics from Deivathin Kural. Introduction to Sanatana Dharmam, what is Vaidhika Dharmam, and what is the role of dharma in society, and what does dharma say about family, what is acharam, how should we conduct ourselves in the society, how should we conduct ourselves in the family, and what is the personal conduct, and what is aharam. Like food control is very, very important. Mahaprabhu has spoken about this a lot. We are going to speak about acharam, aharam. We are also going to see about guru tattvam. What is guru? Who is a real guru? And what is the duty of the gurus? And we are also going to see about Sri Shankara Chakram as said in Deivathin Kural. So even though Deivathin Kural encompasses, it is like an encyclopedia of Sanatana Dharma, we are going to restrict ourselves for the current session with these topics. which we are going to see, in like weeks to come. And just to give you guys a clarity as to what to expect in the session, and more importantly, not, and what that you have to do from your side. So what to expect from the session: this is an introduction of select topics as explained by Sri Mahaperiyava. So just that is the main goal of this program, to introduce about Sanatana Dharma through Deivathin Kural for all of its followers. And the second goal, develop a curiosity to read the original Deivathin Kural. We all should try to read the original book, because whatever Mahaperiva has says, those were his own words, and nobody can replace his own words. Nobody else can convey his message better than him, right? So this program is to develop a curiosity to read the original Deivathin Kural. There are a lot of online resources available on Deivathin Kural. The whole Deivathin Kural has been put in Kanchi Kamakoti Matam's website in Tamil, and there is also English translation coming. And I hear that they are planning to put Voice of God, in Amazon and in other online bookstores. So we will let you know when that comes. But please read the original. And more importantly, this is not only an introduction class. We also want to inspire you guys, to inspire all of us to lead life as outlined in Shastras. We are saying we are proud Hindus, we are proud Sanatana Dharmis, but we only know a little bit about what Shastra has said, and we are trying to follow that. But after studying the, we just want, so let's have Deivathin Kural as an inspiration to follow what Shastra says about how to lead a life, what Periyava says about how to lead a life. Periyava has shown us by example. In Gita, Krishna says, Yadyat acharati sreshtaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. It means, hey Arjuna, people don't have time to read books. People don't have time, people don't have inclination to read Manudharma or to read Vedas. What they do, they simply look up to their heroes and they follow their heroes blindly. Yadyat acharati sreshtaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute. They take their leader's life as an example, and then they just follow the leaders, Arjuna, says Krishna. In the same way, Mahapariyava has shown us in his 100 years lifespan, he has physically shown us it is possible to lead our lives according to Shastra. It is possible to lead our lives without making any compromises on Shastra. And he has inspired a lot of us to lead that life as well. So a very important goal of this introduction to Deivathin Kural program is we will outline what Mahaperiva has said as to how to live according to Shastra. And even if it is not possible to follow that 100%, we will at least know what is there, and we will try to inculcate at least 10% in our lives. If we know what is there, even if we cannot follow it right now, we can follow it later. So that is the main goal of this program. And more importantly, what this session is not. So this session is not a comprehensive discussion of topics in Deivathin Kural. We are going to take only a small subset of Deivathin Kural, and then we are going to discuss. And more importantly, this is not a replacement for studying Deivathin Kural. We all have to go read the Moolam. So that is always there. What we are going to do is just to shed light on some parts of Deivathin Kural, so that you guys, so that we all get interest in reading the Moolam, the Moolam Deivathin Kural, and try to inculcate some of that in our day-to-day life. So with this introduction, let us see what Acharya says in Deivathin Kural. We know that everything in this universe follow an order. Right from galaxy, we have solar system. From like from galaxy, from objects such as planets, sun, galaxy, etc., to very, very small objects such as atoms, protons, neutrons, everything in this universe follow an order. And only when they follow an order, we can live a good life. What happens if tomorrow sun thinks that, hey, I'm tired of racing daily, I'm going to take a rest for one day? We cannot even think what's going to happen. What happens when electrons and protons, suddenly decide that, hey, I'm going to change my charges tomorrow? We don't know what is going to happen. We can lead a very comfortable life. We can lead a very peaceful life if and only if all the things that are surrounding us follow an order. A baby takes 9 to 10 months, in the womb to be born. Suddenly it does not change. Like, for example, seasons, they all predictive. We can predict all those seasons, and because of these predictions, we have plans. We have made plans for summer, we have made plans for winter. And now we know, especially during corona, what happens if things do not fall into order. People have cancelled marriages, everything has gone away because there is no order currently. But overall, things are following a certain order. And Acharya says that order is called as dharma. Just like how we need all the things that are surrounding us to follow an order in order to live a peaceful life, in order to live a contented life, in the same way, we ourselves has to follow, we ourselves have to follow a set of rules and regulations. We need to maintain a disciplined and ordered life in order for others to lead a peaceful and contented life. And that order is called as dharma. That order is called as religion. So that tells us how to lead our lives. If we follow those things, we will be happy and people surrounding us will also be happy. If we don't follow those things, what happens right now? Corona, like things, some of the things in this universe is not following an order, and that is causing problems not only for us but also for each and every individuals that are surrounding. So it is absolutely important for us to follow that cosmic order. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Evam pravartitam chakram. Hey Arjuna, this cosmic wheel is so huge. You are a part of that cosmic wheel. This is the chakram. This is the cosmic wheel. And this wheel is so huge, it's beyond your comprehension. And all of us are a small part of those wheels, of that big wheel. And if we don't do our actions, if we don't do our duties properly, it is going to mess up that whole wheel, and it's definitely not good for the universe, Arjuna, says Krishna in Gita. So same way, we have to follow that order. Now the question comes, okay, if we say dharma or religion order we have to follow, there seems to be many ways in which humans can lead a life. A person can be so materialistic, not care about spirituality. He need not care about his family. So there is an order, there is a dharma, lokayatanam. It was there from days old. So we can do that. There are also other religions that people follow. We have Christianity, we have Abrahamic religions, we have other dharmic religions like Buddhism or Jainism. We have all those religions available. Now my question is, I have a lot of options. It is like going to Walmart to buy a chips, but there are 100 brands of chips. I really don't know what chips I need to buy. So that is a legitimate questions we all have. People talk about a lot of things that they think is good for them, that they think is good for others. So we have a lot of options to choose from. What is the thing I should choose? There are several rule books. Which rule books should I follow? That is a legitimate questions we all have. And the answer that Mahapariva gives is simply this: follow what our ancestors have followed. And the logic is very, very simple. What is that logic? He says, see, we are now in a respectable position. We are now leading an okay, leading a contented life, leading a peaceful life. And how and why do we lead all these lives? It is because that dharma has been followed by our ancestors. It is because the ancestors, the previous generations, have brought that dharma until them, so that now we lead a good life. And what is our duty? We have to follow dharma, and we have to take this dharma to the next generation, so that our next generation can also benefit from dharma. We all are beneficiaries of Sanatana Dharma. It is like an insurance that our ancestors have invested on. Right now we talk about insurance. If I invest on life insurance, my kids are going to be the beneficiary. In the same way, our ancestors have invested in this insurance of dharma, of which we are currently reaping the benefits. And it is our duty to take that dharma to our future generations, so that they can also get benefited from this dharma. I just want to give you one example of why it is very important to follow something that is tested, in time. So some people say, like it stands the test of time. People say, I'm pretty sure some of you have heard this phrase. It stands the test of time. In the same way, our Sanatana Dharma has stood the test of time. And why it is important to follow something that stands the test of time? This is just an example that I thought it's very interesting. Because what happened was, in medieval Europe, were using copper pipes, and some wealthy Europeans thought, hey, copper is only for poor. It's been old. My grandfather used copper. My great grandfather used copper. I'm going to change something new. Just like how we think, okay, all those acharams and anushtanams are very old. I'm going to invent my own way of leading life. The same way, medieval Europeans, what they thought was, I'm going to change from copper to lead. So they had lead pipings all over their house, especially the rich people. And what happened after that? It all lead to lead poisoning. So all those rich people, kids were sick, and the whole generations have abruptly ended. So that is why it is very, very important that we follow what our ancestors have followed. Right now, the mentality is not like that. Right now, the mentality is, hey, if something is old, it is not good, it is not it is not current, it is not trending for the current generation, blah blah blah. But what if we think things through clearly? Whatever things that have been followed by our ancestors, and they led a healthy life, and we lead a healthy life. And so that is why it is very, very important to hold on to those dharmas, especially when something stands the test of time. And Kausalya says to Rama, Mahapariva says the shloka in Dheivathin Kural. When Rama wanted to go to forest, when Kaikeyi asked Rama to go to forest, what do we do? If we are going for picnic, what would a mother do? A mother will make some food, cook some rotis, make some puliodarai, make some idli and coat it with molagapadi, so that, it doesn't go bad. The kid can have it for a couple of days. You know what food Kausalya has packed for Rama? Kausalya has this to say for Rama. Yam palayasi dharmam, yam palayasi dharmam tvam, dhrityacha niyamenacha, savairaghava sardhula, dharmastvam abhigachatu, says Kausalya to Rama. She says, hey Rama, you are going to forest in order to protect a dharma, in order to protect the dharma of Pitruvakya Paripalanam. It is a duty, it is a dharma of a son to follow his father's words. You are going to the forest just to follow that dharma, Rama. Yampalayasi dharmatvam dhrityacha niyamenacha. Hey Rama, let that same dharma protect you. Savai Raghava Shardhula Dharmaha Tvam Abhirakshatu. That dharma which you are following, because of which you are going to the forest, hey Rama, let that dharma protect you. Says Kausalya to Rama. Like see how a mother feels. She could have given him a lot of money. She could have sent him a lot of soldiers to help Rama, but she does not do all those things. She says, hey Rama, the dharma which you are going to protect, let that dharma protect you. That's why we have this word, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If you protect that dharma, then dharma will definitely protect you, says all of our ancestors. And that is the real meaning of the word Shastra. What is Shastra? I follow Shastra. There is Ayurveda Shastra. There is Vastu Shastra. That is Paka Shastra. Paka Shastra is the science of making food. There is a Jyotisha Shastra. So, what is the meaning of the word Shastra? Shasanat trayate iti shastraha. Trayate, to protect, that which protect you by doing what? By shashanat, by giving you rules and regulations. Sashanat trayate iti shastraha, that which protects ourselves by giving out rules and regulations is called as Shastra. Now we have traffic rules. What happens if somebody does not follow a traffic rule? The makers of the rule have already gone. Like if I don't follow a traffic rule, it is not the loss. It is not the loss of the rule, but it is my own loss. I'm going to put my own life in jeopardy. I'm going to make the lives of the people surrounding me miserable, right? In the same way, whatever the rules that our ancestors have given out, if we don't follow them, it is not going to be their loss, but it is our loss. Our life is going to be miserable, and we are also going to make the lives of people surrounding us not comfortable as well. That is why it is very, very important to follow our dharma. Okay, now what is our dharma? What is our religion? Acharya says, what is the name of our religion? Okay, we talk about Sanatana Dharma, we say we are proud Hindus, but is Hindu the real name of our religion? Says Acharya. Acharya asked this question and he says, the word Hindu is not mentioned in any of our Shastras. It is not present in Manudharma. It is not present in Bhagavad Gita. Then how did we get our name as Hindus, and why do we have this name? Acharya says, we got our names. The name Hindu was not our own name. It was given to us by external people. It was given to us by those foreigners. He also says, because in olden days, India was very, very rich and everybody wanted to transact with India. And one of the earliest transactions in very, very old days, people people had to cross this river Sindhu. I hope you guys are all seeing this map. And then in the top left region, there is a Sindhu. There is a river called as Sindhu. And this river is called as Sindhu. And people were coming into Regia coming into this region from here. And the first thing they encountered was the river Sindhu, and they called the region after the Sindhu. They called the region downstream of Sindhu as Indu and Hindu. Sindhu, if you remove that yes, it becomes Hindu. And Hindu is a corrupt form of Hindu. So the word Hindu, it does not refer to any religion. It only refers to a landmass. That is why India got its name as India, because it is downstream of the river Indus, that is Sindhu. The name Sindhu became Indus, and the region that followed Indus became India, and all of the people who were living in India became Hindus, says Acharya. So Hindu is not our original name. It is not the name of the religion that we follow. Then what is the name of the religion? Is it Sanatana Dharma or it is Arsha? All those names we gave to the religion, but it is not mentioned in any text. No text in Vedas or Manudharma Shastras mention Sindhu, Hindu, or Sanatana Dharma. In fact, our religion is so special that it does not have any name for itself. Acharya says in Dheivathin Kural, it is a பெயர் இல்லாத மதம், religion with no name. And he thinks, normally we say, oh, your religion does not have any name. Normally we think it is a negative thing, right? Oh, what happened? Other religions, they all have a name, and we don't even have a name. We normally think it as a negative thing, but no. Acharya has done a lot of research, and he says there is a reason why we do not have any name. He then asked the question, why should we have a name? What is the use of a name? A name is useful if we want to differentiate from one thing to another. If I have a banana, if I have a pomegranate in my hand, I call banana a banana, I call pomegranate a pomegranate, because I wanted to differentiate between banana and a pomegranate. If there is only one fruit in this whole world, then there is no use for any names. Either be banana or pomegranate or guava, there is no need for any names because there is only one thing available. Acharya says he got this thought because he wanted to call somebody known as Ramu. Acharya says, hey, he apparently said to his Sishyas, hey, can you please call Ramu? He says. And the Sishya asked back, hey, Acharya, which Ramu you wanted to call? You want white Ramu? You want the tall Ramu? You want the short Ramu? Which Ramu you wanted to call? And that's when Acharya got this idea. Hey, if there is only one Ramu, there is no need for any other name to distinguish him from other Ramus. Right? If there is only one Ramu, if Acharya says call Ramu, then the Ramu can easily be called. But because there were several Ramus, he had to have an adjective. Call that white Ramu, call that bald Ramu, call that tall Ramu. In the same way, in ancient times, our Sanatana Dharma was the only Dharma that is present all over the world. So, because this is the Dharma that is present all over the world, and there was not any other religion existing at that time. People did not have all the other religions that we currently have at that time. So, they did not bother to come up with a name, says Acharya in Deivathin Kural. He beautifully follows logic. If you guys know Tamil, please go read that part in Deivathin Kural. It is from Deivathin Kural part 1. So this is the reason Acharya says why our dharma does not have any name. And he doesn't stop with this theory. He also gives a lot of proofs as the Sanatana Dharma was present in the entire world at one point of time. Now we have Wikipedia. Now we have internet. It is very easy to go and Google and search for. Remember, this book was written 1970s, 80s, 90s, no internet, no Wikipedia, even books were not there, and Acharya was constantly moving from one place to another. I honestly don't know how he did all those research, because I'm going to show some of the things that he said as to why Sanatana Dharma was prevalent in this entire. He says, there apparently there is a treaty. So this tablet was excavated. This tablet was from 13th century BC. Currently, we are in 2020 AD. So 13th century BC is 1300 years plus 2000 years. So 3300 years back, they had this tablet, and this tablet was from somewhere near Egypt, that Middle East region. And this talks about a treaty between two kings. So there existed two kings, Kuma and Tukana. So these were the two kings, and they entered into a treaty amongst themselves. And even, even if we go now and then people write a treaty and things like that, say, hey, somebody breaks this treaty, they incur these many papams. And this treaty has been signed in the presence of so and so and so and so. Like even now, somebody gives us a degree, it says, I signed this degree in the presence of the chancellor of the university, blah, 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 right? In the same way, when they signed this treaty, they say, having Mitra, Varuna, Indra as the witness, we sign this treaty. Says these two kings from 3,300 years ago, not even from India, it is from somewhere in the Middle East. And here, here is the exact transcription of that language. And what is that Vedic equivalent got? So Aruna is Varuna, Mitra is Mitra, Indra is Indra, Agni is Agni, Nasatya is Ashwini Devatas. We have two Ashwini Devatas out there, right? So these Devatas, we are still worshipping these Devatas. Varuna Suktam is present in our Sandhya Vandana mantras. Mitra Varuna is even now Mitra Secharashanik. So even now we tell about Mitra Varuna. We worship Mitra and Varuna and Sandhya Vandana mantras. Indra is a Hindu god. It is a Sanatana Dharma god. Agni is essential for everything. Even Rigveda starts with the Shabda Agni. Agni Ile Purohitam. So all these devatas are, unequivocally Vedic, but these devatas were mentioned in 13th century BC treaty. If somebody has to be mentioned in a treaty in the 13th century, remember how long before 13th century these devatas have been were being worshipped in that area. So Sanatana Dharma is so old, and it was so spread across the entire globe. Another example he gives is Yupa inscription of Mulavarman of Koti, somewhere near Indonesia or blah, 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 in the eastern side of India. So these inscriptions are from 400 AD, 400 Common Era. So 1600 years back. And remember, this is not in India. This is somewhere near Indonesia, Java, near those islands. And here it talks about Upastamba. Upa is a pole. Normally, when people are doing yajna, like Ashwamedha yajna or Somayaga, etc., they tie the sacrificial animal to a post. To a post means what? A stick. And that stick is called as Yupa. And these inscriptions talk about that Yupa. So remember, if I have to talk about something, then that has to be in my culture for so long. Only then I will be remembering to talk about that, in an inscription or in a treaty. So all those things point out that Sanatana Dharma was present all over the world. And recently, so this is also from 14th century CE, and Mahaperiyava says the concept of Tirupavai and Tiruvambavai was present in Thailand as back as 14th century. And even for our Tirupavai and Tiruvambavai Margari initiatives, Periyava came when he gave Anugraha Bhashanam, he mentioned this. So the Tirupavai and Tiruvambavai chanting was followed in Thailand. They have many oleichuris, many palm leaves manuscripts, which we are going to take a look on it. He says, and on the right side is that giant Jula, giant Unjal, onto which Parameshwara and Parvati they were used to be present in this Unjal, and they had this swing ceremony, Unjal ceremony for Tirupavai and Tiruvambavai. Even now, if we go to Shivan temples in the month of Margari for Arudra Darshanam, they keep Shiva and Parvati on a Unjal, and then they swing the Unjal, chanting Tiruvambavai. And Acharya says this process was existent in Thailand by chanting Tirupavai and Tiruvambavai. So he says, he gives like this, he gives a lot of evidences as to why Sanatana Dharma was the only Dharma that was present in olden days, and that is why people did not need to have come up with a name. He also gives example of this king's name, Ramesas. Like we can easily identify Rama in this Ramesas. Rama was there in the Rama is there in this name, and this is in 13th century, 13,000 BC. And he also mentioned something very interesting. In Sanskritam, Sagara means ocean. A sea is called as Sagara. Karuna Sagara, we say ocean of mercy. Sagara is ocean. Sagara Kanyaka is the name of Mahalakshmi. Because she was born out of Kshirabdi Sagara, she is called as Sagara Kanyaka. And at one point of time, the whole Sahara desert was an ocean, it seems. Now scientists say the whole Sahara desert was an ocean at one point of time, and Mahaperiyava says it is that reason why Sahara could have gotten its name Sahara, because Sahara is a corrupt form of Sagara. Sagara, Sahara. They even sound very related, right? So Mahaperiyava says even Sahara desert, it is the largest desert in the world and it is not present in India. And he says Sahara, because it was an ocean at one point of time, and because Sanskritam was in use at that time, because it is the Vedic language was in use at that time, people named it as Sagara, and that name has stuck till now. So even now we are calling Sahara Desert as Sahara Desert only, with the connection with Sagara. And he also says, the California that is present in the US could have been a Kapilaranyam. It could have been a Kapilaranyam. He says a story from Ramayana, that is related to Gangavatarana. If you guys are more interested, please go study Dheivathin Kural. I'm not going to tell that story here. That is for you to read as a homework. He says Kapilaranyam could be a correct, could be the original name of California, because just like how Madurai becomes Marudai, in the same way Kapilaranyam could have become California. And he says that is one of the reason why he feels Sanatana Dharma was present all over the world, and that is exactly for that reason why we did not have a special name, because there is nothing to be differentiated against. So that is why Sanatana Dharma does not have a separate name for itself, and it is not something negative. It is the most positive thing. It is a most advantageous thing. We all should be proud that it was present in all over the world, and we are currently still following that Sanatana Dharma. Now the next question he asks, all the other religion came from a person. Christianity came from Christ. Buddhism came from Buddha. That is why the religion got their name from its originator. Christianity got its name from Jesus Christ. Buddhism got its name from Gautama Buddha. Jainism got its name from Jinadeva. So the name of the name of the person who originated the religion has become the name of the religion as well. He asks, who is the originator of Hinduism? From whom did the Hinduism originate? Can we say Vyasa? No. Can we say Krishna? No. Because Vyasa says in his Brahma Sutra, he has not invented anything. He has written Puranas, but Vedas were present even before the times of Vyasa. He only split the Vedas into four. He wrote Puranas and Itihasas, but he did not invent Vedas. He did not invent any mantras. And in Brahma Sutra, he says, hey, I'm not telling something new. It was there even before. Can we say Krishna? Because we say Bhagavad Gita is a holy book for Hinduism. So can we say Krishna is the, is the originator for Hinduism? No. Even Krishna says, Lokesmin Dvidha Vidya Pura Prokta Mayanagha. He says, hey Arjuna, even in olden days, this religion was there. All these concepts I did not invent. Raja Rishayo Viduhu. These things have been followed by Raja Rishis. These things have been followed by Janakadayaha, like King Janaka. Janaka was present in Ramavatara, and Krishna is much later than Ramavatara. So even Krishna says this dharma was present even before me, Arjuna. So we cannot say Vyasa as the originator of Hinduism. We cannot say Krishna as the point person for the Hinduism. So can we say rishis? Because when we chant Rudra, Asya Shri Rudradhyaya Prashna Mahamantrasya Aghora Rishihi, we say Rudra, the Rudram part, the Rishi for the Rudram part is Aghora Rishi. Maybe, one of those Rishis have founded this. But what is the meaning of the word Rishis? Rishis did not invent mantras, they only discovered mantras. Like if we accept Rishis were the founders of Hinduism, then we had to accept Newton as the founder of gravity. Like Newton discovered gravity, but gravity was there even before Newton only, right? In the same way, all those mantras were there in the cosmos all the time, but the rishis, because of their karuna, because of their yogic power, they put that mantra in a tangible form and they gave that mantra to us. So this religion, it does not have any name. This religion, it does not have any origin person, it does not have any originator, it does not have any creator. So we cannot treat Sanatana Dharma among all the religion. Like we cannot, it is like comparing apples to orange. So we cannot compare our Sanatana Dharma to other religion, because it is a way of life in its own self. It does not have any name. It does not have any originator. It does not have any one single book. Saivas follow Devaram Tiruvasakam, Vaishnavas follow Divya Prabandham. Other people follow their own Grantha. So even though there is no unity, Sanatana Dharma exists even now because of the power of Dharma, says Mahaperiyava. And now he says why the Sanatana Dharma is little bit differentiate. It's little bit different from other religion. So if somebody asks you, hey, can you tell me any unique features of your religion? We don't know. We will be blanking, right? So Dheivathin Kural, Acharya says, he says a lot of unique features of our Sanatana Dharma. I'm just going to talk about a few unique features of Sanatana Dharma. The first unique feature is karma theory. In other religion, in Abrahamic religion, they don't accept rebirth. They say Bhagavan has given you birth, has given you this birth, and if you lead this life properly, you will go to hell. You will go to heaven. If you don't lead this life properly, you will go to hell. And the heaven and hell are eternal, based upon your action for the 80 years or 100 years in this world. You will be eternally burnt in hell, or you will be given eternal happiness in heaven. That's what most of the Abrahamic religion says. But Sanatana Dharma does not say that. Sanatana Dharma says there is no hell, There is no permanent hell. Neither there is permanent hell, nor there is permanent heaven. There is no eternal damnation at all. It's all cyclic. If I enjoy in this janma, it is because of my punyam from the previous janma. If I suffer in this janma, it is because of the papams I did in my previous janma. And that also means if I have to enjoy in my next janma, I have to do punyams now. If I don't care about my enjoyment in the next janma, then I can lead my life however I want and I will incur papam. So there is no permanent hell, there is no eternal damnation, there is a cyclic lifestyle. You have what goes around comes around. Whatever you do, if you do good for others, you will get good thing. If you do bad for others, you will get bad things. That is one of the unique features of karma theory. And Acharya says it also makes sense, because then how would be different? Then how can we explain all those differences in a birth? He says apparently some Westerners came to Acharya and then they asked Acharya, hey, please, hey, Swami, we don't understand karma theory. Can you please explain the karma theory to me? Acharya could have explained it in a, in a shastric way or in a philosophical way. He did not do all those things. He asked them to go to a nearby hospital, to the birth ward. It's a neonatal hospital. So, it is a children's hospital. So there were, a lot of people, lot of children who were born. He say, hey, can you please go to the hospital and then observe the newborns? Say Acharya, said Acharya. And all those Westerners, they went to the nearby hospital. They observed the newborns. They came back to Acharya and Acharya asked, hey, what did you observe? They said, oh, there were some kids who were born healthy. There were some kids who were not very healthy. There were some premature, some babies which are prematurely born, so they had to be kept in an incubator. There are some kids, they looked so beautiful. There are some kids which they don't look very beautiful. There are some kids which so there were a lot of differences at birth. There were some kids, they had like defects right from their birth. They had like congenital defects, etc. So they explained all those things to Acharya, and Acharya asked, hey, if you don't accept karma theory, how can you explain all those differences from birth? If Bhagavan is a Karunamurti, because all the religion says Bhagavan is a Karunamurti, he is an embodiment of compassion. If he is an embodiment of compassion, why should he create that inequality during birth? He could have created everything equal, but he did not. There were some kids who were wealthy. There are some kids who cannot even afford a single morsel of food. There are some kids who are very healthy. There are some kids who are not healthy at all. How can you explain, but for karma theory, this differences in right from birth? If we talk about a grown up person, that is different. But from birth, the kids have not done anything, but only karma theory can explain all these things. The kids now, all those healthy, wealthy kids, maybe they have done lot of punyam in their previous janma. That is why they have all sukham. And all those not so well kids, maybe they have done some papam in their previous janma, and that is why they have dukkham. So karma theory can also explain all the differences, all the inequalities in birth. And Acharya also says only karma theory can explain all those child prodigies. We have child prodigies, 1 year old kid or 2 year old kid playing a piano, 2 year old kid speaking a language which is not spoken in their household at all, 3 year old kid finding the names of the ragas. How can we explain all those things? Because they had vasanas from their previous janma, they still carry those vasanas in this janma. Only the karmic theory, only the rebirth can explain all those child prodigies. Only karma theory can explain all those inequalities in birth. So that is a very valid theory, and this is very, very unique to our dharmic religion. It is very, very unique to our Sanatana Dharma. And next unique feature our Sanatana Dharma has got is the concept of avataram. We say Mahavishnu has done 10 avatars. There are 24 or 25 avatarams being spoken about in Srimad Bhagavatam. But normally we know 10 famous avatars as Dasavataras. So Bhagavan has come to our own level. Avatarati means coming down. Bhagavan is coming down in order to save us. In order for us, he is coming down. So that is another unique feature of our Sanatana Dharma, because in the all other religions they say God is in heaven, he cannot come down. He may send his prophets, he may send his he may send his worker, etc. But
நான் பண்றேன் ஒரு நிமிஷம். Give me a time. ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
But he will never come. Only in Sanatana Dharma Bhagavan takes avatara, says Acharya in Dheivathin Kural. And another unique feature of our religion that we all have to be very, very proud of is no single savior. All the other religions say, hey, you will go to heaven only if you follow him. If you don't follow him, you won't go to heaven, you will go to hell, says other religion. But our Sanatana Dharma does not say. Sanatana Dharma does not say only if you follow Adi Shankaracharya, you can get Swarga. Only if you follow Ramanujacharya, you can get Swarga. It never says that, because there is a very logical problem in that statement that Mahapariva himself says. Hey, if we accept a single savior, what about those people who are born before that savior? Other religion says Jesus is our savior, Muhammad is our savior. What happened to those people who are born before those people? Because even according to their religion, the religion was 500 years old, and this person came 2000 years back. So what happened to all those people who are born in that 3000 years? They all will go to hell for no reason, for no fault of their own, right? So the concept of having one single savior, the concept of having, hey, if you follow him, only if you follow him, you will go to heaven. Only if you follow him, you will go to Swarga. Only if you follow him, you will go to Moksha. That itself is flawed, says Mahapariva, because it leads to all those logical questions which can never be answered. And that is why our Sanatana Dharma never says follow him. Only if you follow him, you will go to Swarga. It never says. It says follow your gurus. It says follow rishis. It says follow ancestors. But it never says only if you follow him, you will go to Swarga. Otherwise, you will go to Naraka. It never says all those things. And with this, we will end today's session because it is already 11:30. In the next session, we are going to see what are the dharma that we have to follow in our day-to-day life. Acharya says, importantly, 5 dharmas that everybody has to follow. Ahimsa, Satyam, Saucham, Asteyam, and Indriya Nigraham. These are all Samanya Dharma, that is common Dharma for all of us to follow, and we will see about these things in the next session. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.